Hi, welcome to week 18 of Clare's Club, and we're actually on the very last step of self-transformation, the journey of the fall. And what I'm going to do first is just recap the 7 stages the 6 that we've gone through and the one that we're going to look at today, which is the most exciting one, because it's when everything comes home. So the first stage was the decision to have a new experience, and one thing I didn't do was talk about how that gets initiated, that decision to have a new experience, because it can come from outside and it can come from inside. So I am writing about this, so I'll go into that more at a later stage. But for now, just suffice to say that something happens that prompts us to begin to move in a new direction, regardless of the fact that it's rather uncomfortable to start with. And then the second stage was putting one foot forward, where we come forward out of the background, out of Plato's cave, and we start to engage with the realities that are calling our name. Having done that, the next stage 3, was that we then hit this crossroads where we get met with some very practical decisions that we have to make, and in a way almost choosing between our dream self, our visionary self, and perhaps the self of the past that will have some attachment and loyalty concerns to security and stasis because of that. After hitting the crossroads, the 4th stage was that we then leave the familiar behind, and that can have this sense of stepping into the void and not yet having any sense of the forthcoming form that will be emerging as we step forwards into these new invitations, these new realities. The next step 5, was emptiness, and I think that's one where I made the face like that, because we all know that feeling. Once you enter the void, of course there is a feeling within, and we can look outside of ourselves and see a sense of emptiness. It could also be a sense of chaos, which I don't think I talked about, because form, it's like a tornado, the possibilities are circulating it rather dramatically at times, or it can be a very quiet, still period of time. But even if it feels chaotic and it looks like everything's going mad, a bit like the Tower card, right deep inside there'll be sort of an aching loneliness, a sense of emptiness, a wondering about direction and have we been abandoned. For instance, if you were Christian, even if you're not, you're probably familiar with Jesus and the crucifixion. That could be likened to the point where he looks to the sky, is portrayed as looking to the sky and going, God, why hast thou forsaken me? Father, why hast thou forsaken me? And it's that feeling of being completely abandoned without an apparently good reason. What happens though, once we're in that stage, is that the new ideas begin to ferment, and we get this sense of energy arising, this sense of excitement. It's not immediate. It takes a while. But it is a growing sense of excitement, and thank God for that, right? Otherwise, why would we do it? But the arising sense of excitement gradually starts to show up as something. And that's what brings us to today, which is step 7. So step 7 is that life comes to meet us. So we've done this heroic stage, of going out into the world. It might be purely internal, no one else may notice. But really, for a lot of us, it does mean physicality. It means a shift in location, a shift in job, a shift in belief patterns and decisions, a shift in what we accept. And that takes great risk. Giving up the security of the known is a great risk, regardless of whether we actually liked that which was secure. the familiarity of the secure is an enormous payoff, and it's why there are so many of us that sit in a kind of stasis, being a vegetable couch, is it? Or couch potato? Being a vegetable couch potato, which I do sometimes, and I call it resting. But I think it might be avoiding. It could be resting. But anyway, life comes to meet us. Now this is super exciting. So this is the thing about teleology. So we've put a thought out there, or something in our future has drawn us towards itself with the introduction of thoughts. So you can look at that in different ways. But it's like, oh my God, you know, you get that phone call, or you get that idea, or you get that email, or you notice that flyer, or you hear that conversation, or you hear about a new job through a friend. Like suddenly, after this period of time, which is undefined because it does vary, could be days, months, weeks, unlikely to be years in the cases that we're describing here. But that again kind of goes into the realms of astrology, because there are different sizes of cycles that occur for us. But anyway, life comes to meet us, so it shows up as a thing. So I have an example, thank goodness. So I had dinner with a girlfriend a few nights ago, and almost as an afterthought, after a very long, fabulous chat over dinner, really nice food, Thai food, as I exhaled, I found myself saying, God, I really want to write movies or a screenplay. I forget exactly what it was, but it's one of those. And I was rather surprised, actually, to hear myself say it with such passion and such truth and depth. And she immediately looked at me and she goes, you know, there's a lady coming into town called Anne Randolph, and she does workshops on writing for stage, and writing as an exploration of consciousness, a rising self. And as soon as she said it, I knew. It's like, this is it. And she very kindly emailed me the information that night. I got in touch. The workshop happened to be full, but there was another one being put on because of that. I got in touch with the lady who was organising it on behalf of the visiting artist. It was full, the new one, and I thought, well, what will be, will be. And I think within 2 days she had emailed me to say that a spot had become open, and would I like it? And it was so obvious, you know, because of the serendipity. So look for the serendipities and let it be simple, let it be easy, because you've already struggled. So this part doesn't have to be the struggle. This is the part where life comes forward, and all you have to do is be aware. You've got to keep your eyes open, keep your antenna alert, because you'll get a sign, and it really could be very subtle. But if you're paying attention, however small or subtle that sign is, you will feel it like a big fat boom. You won't miss it. So it's really important to put yourself in a position, a state of being, where you can actually reap your rewards. It's going to be so exciting. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you start paying attention when you come to this stage. And what I did for today is I thought it would be fun to draw a tarot card. So my friend Kelly gave me this deck as a gift a while ago. She used to live in the area. And so I shuffled the cards just before doing this video. And I was asking the question for the group of us who are watching this, show me a card to represent this stage of the journey for all of us. A message for this stage of the journey. So, drum roll. This was the card. The Sage of Wands. So I'm going to leave it there, and you're welcome to pause that at some point so that you can have a good look at the imagery. And in fact, I'll just leave it up while I read. So here's a little book that comes with it. And I'm going to read you what it says. And then I'll throw in perhaps a little something afterwards. So, A stately man, seated on an ornate palanquin, rides a camel through the desert. With a flaming torch he leads the way through the shifting sands. So the Sage of Wands burns with creative visions. Are we surprised? Not really, a little bit, but not really. So the Sage of Wands burns with creative visions. He loves nothing so much as a good challenge and a chance to strategize. He's a true pioneer, able to inspire others to success. In fact, his enthusiasm is irresistible. Though his intentions are for the best, this powerful personality is only comfortable when he's in charge. His hot temper can flare up quickly in the face of opposition. Intolerant of weakness in others, as well as in himself, he's a notoriously bad sport. But we rarely, and this is key, so don't worry about that last part, we rarely see this side of the sage. Usually we see only the charismatic leader rallying people to his cause. The Sage of Wands may appear in your life as a dynamic and commanding person. He may also symbolize a fiery and ambitious part of you, or advise you to call upon your own leadership abilities. So my take on that is that having gone through this journey, each of us has acquired a new sense of identity that has a certain power to it. It also enables us to have become much clearer about a vision, a creative vision. And this is a process of creativity, as you know. That's my entry point, that's my perspective on all of this, is looking at how this leads to a creative life, how it supports us living creatively. And that means using our imaginations, as well as taking risks with those imaginations. So I wouldn't worry about the hot temper or the bad sport, because I think what that really means is that we will become bad-tempered if we thwart our own impulse for success. That, I think, is really key. If we thwart our own impulse for success, that is when we're going to show up as a rather unpleasant human being in other people's lives. So I think the thing to do is to be really honest with ourselves on each stage of this journey. And when the opportunity comes, think of Tarzan, right, with the rope from the trees. When that rope comes past, grab on and just fly. Don't worry where your feet are going to land. Trust the impulses, trust the serendipities, trust the synchronicities that life brings forward at this point. So you do have leadership abilities. They might just be something that you do for yourself. It could be something that you externalize to help other people find their own joy as well. But before we help others, we have to, of course, know how to do it for ourselves. So I encourage you to take stock of these 7 stages, to take stock of yourself in the 7 stages. Allow an unfolding to occur, and then allow a flowering to occur of you, of your creativity, of your creative imagination. Because whatever that looks like, I can promise you it will be a gift to others as well as to you. It's the beauty of win-win situation. So really trust yourself and really let happiness shine through you. And you will really be so glad that you did. You will experience gratitude ongoingly. Gratitude on an ongoing basis. And joy and excitement. And I promise you it's really true. It's real. It's not fanciful. It's not overly wistful. It's there. It's there. It's our reward. That's it. That's all I can tell you. So strategize, hand it over, inspire, be inspired, and consider what is unique to you that could show up as a form of inspiration for others just by genuine participation with that which is true in you. So next week will be a new surprise. If you have an area that you'd like to explore, question that you'd like me to consider with you, then just email me. And I hope you're enjoying the new platform this is on. And I look forward to further explorations and inspirations. So lots of love to you, and until the next time. Bye.